This show is a part of the podcast network of the Walled Garden Philosophical Society, an international community of philosophers and seekers dedicated to the pursuit of truth, wisdom, virtue, and the divine, wherever they may be found. To find out more, go to thewalledgarden.com. Hello and welcome to another episode of Soul Searching with Seneca. Today I'm moving on to letter number 27 on the good which abides, and I'm just going to be focusing on the first verse, which happens to be one of my favorite little bits of wisdom that Seneca ever wrote. And so I'm going to read this for you now, and then I'll pick it apart and explain to you why I think that this verse is so vital to our understanding of who Seneca was and also what he was trying to achieve with these letters. So he says the following, quote, "What, you say, are you giving me advice? Indeed, have you already advised yourself, already corrected your own faults? Is this the reason why you have leisure to reform other men? No, I am not so shameless as to undertake to cure my fellow men when I am ill myself. I am, however, discussing with you troubles which concern us both, and sharing the remedy with you, just as if we were lying ill in the same hospital. Listen to me, therefore, as you would if I were talking to myself. I am admitting to you my innermost thoughts, and am having it out with myself, merely making use of you as my pretext." End quote. Okay, so there you have it, one of my favorite passages from Seneca. And one of the reasons why this passage really sings out to me is because it shows a really important side of Seneca that often isn't portrayed by people who claim that he was a hypocrite or that he didn't practice what he preached. Well, you know, what Seneca would have said to those kinds of arguments is, yeah, tell me something I don't know. You know, he would have said, okay, of course I'm a hypocrite. Of course I've got a whole bunch of problems. Of course I'm just as sick as everybody else, right? But what's most important is the wrestling with these questions of morality, the wrestling with what does it mean to have wisdom? What does it mean to bring out the goods of the soul? What does it mean to be a good person? And to actually go on that path, to walk on that path, despite the fact that you're not yet perfect, despite the fact that you're a hypocrite, despite the fact that nobody reaches the glory of God, you might say, if you're a Christian, or nobody reaches the state of the sage, if you're a Stoic, you might say that. And this is really so important, especially in a time like today when we see so many people with this really kind of cynical view of our past and of culture and of history, where, you know, if somebody wasn't 100% perfect, you know, if they went just a little bit outside of what we now today think is correct morality and ethics, it's like off with their head, right? But what Seneca shows us here is that we are all imperfect. We're all in this hospital together. What's most important is wrestling with these questions together and trying to understand better answers. And to me, what this says is that Seneca really is just the kind of teacher that we need, especially in a time like today. He's just the kind of partner that you want on a philosophical journey. Because let me tell you something. If somebody is teaching you about wisdom and philosophy and morality and ethics and all these things, and they're trying to tell you that they are 100% perfect, right? And that they have no flaws and that's why you should learn from them, you need to run away from that person as quickly as possible, or you need to put down that book, because nobody gets to that stage, right? Nobody gets to the stage of perfection. Perhaps people can be a little bit further along on the journey than you are. Perhaps people can be a little bit closer to perfection than what you might be, but nobody reaches that state of perfection. And so Seneca shows us here that that's truly what is important, is actually engaging with the questions and engaging with the path of philosophy. And another thought that I might insert in here is that if you ever had questions about whether or not Seneca was really just writing to himself, well, he answers it in here, right? He is writing to himself about his own problems, but he's using us, the readers, or Lucilius, the potential reader on the other end, as the pretext, meaning basically Seneca is trying to wrestle with these questions for himself so that he can improve, and we get to go along on that ride with him and watch him in that process. And this is really vital to our understanding of what we're getting out of Seneca's letters and what makes these letters different from, say, books written by philosophers that you might have read before. Because we're not getting here a philosopher saying, here's my topic, I'm going to write a book about this and teach the world. What we've got here is a practitioner of philosophy or a student of wisdom trying to grapple with these questions over multiple letters, trying to come to terms with the issues of his own soul, the issues that he's grappling with, and hoping that perhaps these letters will be of value or of use to other people who might be wrestling with the same questions. And I think that makes this work so incredibly valuable for any student of philosophy, because it shows not necessarily the destination, but the path that we can walk on if we're really trying to be students of wisdom, right? And so Seneca, in a sense, walks with us hand in hand down this path and shows us this is how you can do it. This is how you can start to think about these problems. This is how you can start to think about the issues that you're dealing with in your own soul. And we need to remember that this is a person who's spent his entire life around some of the most powerful, wealthy, indulgent people you could imagine, some of the most evil people you could imagine. And he's probably seen a lot of good as well. He's lived a very rich life, both monetarily, but also in his education, in his experience, right? He's seen a lot. He's been exiled. He's experienced the lowest of lows, being exiled away from his country. He's experienced what you might consider to be the highs of highs as well. But ultimately, what we're seeing here is Seneca's coming to the end of his life, and he's saying, let me see if I can do something truly important here, which is to wrestle with the issues within my own soul, and perhaps to give that gift to other people as well. So I think that that's very interesting. This is really a philosophical student at the end of his life, looking back and saying, I might not be perfect. Yes, I'm a hypocrite. Yes, I've got a ton of problems, but that should not deter me from trying to figure out how I can become clean again. And I think that that's powerful. That's a powerful message. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope it's been thought-provoking, and I'll talk to you next time.